Ladies and gentlemen, in this debate, Team Government gave a radical approach to get rid of nuclear energy entirely. But with this radical stance, they had the burden to provide us with a safe alternative that could be used instead of nuclear energy. They had 3 speakers, but none of them provided a safe alternative that we could use. They even conceded to the point that we need more energy, but what did they choose to do? To get rid of one of the main sources of sustainable energy. Instead, they tried to shift the burden to Team Opposition and make us prove that nuclear energy is the most cheap, the most sustainable, and the most eco-friendly energy source that is. But that isn't the burden of Team Opposition in this debate. Now, as the opposition replied, I'll be summarizing the premise, the principle, and the practicality of this debate. First, for premise, well, we had a team proposition that was full of fundamental assumptions. First of all, they assumed that all the countries like South Korea and France that mainly depend on nuclear energy as one of its main sources will all be able to make a smooth and perfect transitions once they get rid of it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not true. To our POI, the whip responded that we could all make it a solar panels. But ladies and gentlemen, that sort of technology isn't available right now. We can't, at this current age, fuel 80% of a country just on solar panels, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to reiterate the fact that they have never provided us a better alternative. Also, Team Opposition was a team full of denials. They denied the technological advancements we mentioned. They denied the benefits, and not just benefits, but the necessities. They never responded to our point about having a high water system, and they also totally dropped their point about increased dependency for oil that was becoming a trouble. Also, we see the Team Proposition was a team full of fundamental contradictions. They tell us about the negative environmental aspects of getting rid of nuclear reactors. But if they're supporting the motion that nuclear energy must come to an end, then don't they have to get rid of the reactors that are there in the first place? We see that this is a fundamental contradiction that they've never addressed upon. Nextly, I'd like to move on to principle. Well, Team Proposition said that they want to have a sustainable and safe energy source, but that principle in the end was actually valued by Team Opposition. Because even compared to all the other sources of energy we have, such as oil or solar power, we see that nuclear energy is superior in many aspects, although it wasn't the burden of the opposition to prove this. On the other hand, Team Proposition says we must get rid of the superior energy source while never providing us a clear justification while we have to get rid of one of the most major energy sources that we have in current technology. Today, Team Opposition wants to keep both the nuclear energies and other energies that have potential to develop, such as solar panels. But on the other hand, Team Proposition just wants to throw away a major one. This brings me to my last point, which is about practicality. Because it was the burden of side proposition who proposed this radical motion to provide us with a safer alternative, or at least a justification of getting rid of all nuclear weapons and all nuclear power reactors. Now, first of all, the Prime Minister said that he was going to do a cost-benefit analysis in his speech, but he never did that, so now I'd like to take the time to do so. Now, they gave us a list of harms of nuclear energy, such as environmental harms, cost, sustainability. Well, to this we have mainly 3 responses. First of all, these harms are applicable to any other alternative resources that provided, such as oil and solar panels. Actually, secondly, most of the harms they mentioned are non-existent. We told you that actually nuclear power was cheaper and more environmental friendly and more sustainable than the other alternatives they've mentioned. And thirdly, whatever their harms they've mentioned can be solved with using 8 extra safety measures, something that Team Proposition never addressed. So you have to ask by the end of this debate, did side proposition provide you with a safe alternative as it was their burden to do so? And the answer is no, and that is exactly why side opposition is the one who clearly takes this debate home. Thank you.